Red alert. 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 Red alert.
War and Rumors of War, Part 3. This segment examines the Middle East, the one area that has more biblical prophecies than any place on earth. 2,600 years ago, Daniel identified the empires that would arise and fall. Jesus explained to his disciples what the end times would look like, and many years later, John wrote Revelations, vividly depicting the events that were to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived. The deception, nation will rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines, pestilence, earthquake in various places, and all these are the beginning of sorrow. Then they will deliver you up to tribulation and kill you, and you will be hated by all nations for my name's sake. And then many will be offended, will betray one another, and will hate one another. And because lawlessness will abound, the love of many will grow cold. But he who endures to the end shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in all the world as a witness to all nations, and then the end will come. The Middle East is tied to the war in Europe. Russia is intertwined deeply in the Middle East with Syria, Libya, Iran, and to some extent Turkey. As Russian power grows, there is more influence in the region, and members of the region also increase their influence on Russia. Ezekiel 38 discusses the Gog and Magog war and the invasion of Israel. Many assume that Russia will play a major role in the Ezekiel 38 event. We also have the total destruction of Damascus in a night. All in all, the Bible has a lot to say about the region and events that will transpire in the future. We may be seeing the beginning of some of those events, or at least the groundwork for them being established. Add a number of terrorist groups that surround Israel, proxies of Iran, and you have the potential for war. The terrorist groups are well armed with battlefield experience. Russia fires ground-to-air missile at IAF aircraft that bomb Syria. Israel tells Syria to stop Iranian weapons from entering the country for redistribution to terrorist groups. Israel threatens to bomb Assad's palace. Iran provides Hezbollah with modern weapons, including precision-guided missiles and air defense missiles. Hezbollah has a minimum of 150,000 missiles, can launch 1,000 missiles a day for half a year without resupply. Iran provides Hamas with missile technology and weapons. Iran has largest stockpile of ballistic missiles. Iran has largest inventory of drone in the world. Iran openly harasses U.S. warships, showing contempt for America. Iran places satellite into orbit. This technology is the prelude to nuclear-tipped ICBMs capable of hitting the EU, the U.S., or any country. Iran attacks U.S. soldiers in the Middle East. Iran attacks the U.S. embassy with missiles. Iran and U.S. nuclear talks to resume. Iran stalls for time to get the bomb. Russia and Syria paratroopers hold joint drills. Russia and Syria Air Force fly joint missions along Israel's border on the Golan Heights. Russia does not recognize Israel's claim on the Golan Heights. Russian troops are stationed on the Syria-Israeli border. IDF bombs Iranian weapons depot in Syria multiple times. Israel and Lebanon argue over the boundary into the Mediterranean that covers the massive gas find. Israel strikes a massive gas deposit. Israel to provide natural gas to Egypt, who will in turn make LNG and ship it to the EU. This will replace Russia as the EU's supplier of natural gas. Russia is not happy. Iran produces weapon-grade nuclear material. Israel strikes Damascus International Airport runways, closing the airport. Iran vows to press ahead with nuclear weapons development. Middle East countries not aligned with Iran are talking about a NATO-like structure to offset Iran's growing power. Hezbollah has 15 new observation posts on the Golan Heights. This breaks the Israeli-Lebanon treaty. Hezbollah, Hamas, Palestinians, Houthis, and Iranians all out for the destruction of Israel. If you put a frog in hot water, he will jump out. Put a frog in cool water and slowly increase the temperature, and the frog will remain and die. We started in cool water, and the temperature has been rising ever since. Some say the water is now boiling around the world. Where will the first spark be that sets off the powder keg? As the Chinese say, may you live in interesting times, and surely we do. They are called the end times. God bless and goodbye until the next Red Alert.
Red alert, 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 red alert.